Robert Drury back again. I'm going to do something a little different this time. Normally, I play games on here and I record it while I'm playing. This particular week, I have a tournament tomorrow, and I have a tendency, the week that I have a tournament, I try to cram as many games in as I can with the hippopotamus defense, and I usually go on a big tilt streak because I stay up late cramming games in, and I play a lot when I'm tired. So right now, my rating is quite a bit below 21-24, but I am actually going to go back and show you a game I played against a national master. And basically, I would like to show that, you don't have to be worried about playing the hippo when you play national masters because it's a good defense. Now, with this particular game, I am playing the white pieces, and I'm going to go over the game and tell you what all happened. And also, when you're playing the white pieces, a lot of people will not refer to it as the hippopotamus defense, but the hippopotamus attack. So, let's get into the game, and I will show you how it went. All right, so I'm playing National Master, and he goes by AZ Cactus, which I'm pretty sure stands for Arizona Cactus. And I have played him in the past, but this may be the first time I've actually played the Hippo against him. All right, I start out with B3, which, as we've talked about before, is technically an Enzo Larson, and he plays E5, and so I'm going to continue with B2, Hippo setup, and now he plays E6 pawn out, and I've seen this actually in over the board also, and it's just, I don't know, it's just different. It doesn't give me anything to latch on to. If he plays this way, I can go ahead, well, I could actually go ahead and take here, but what he's doing, instead of defending the pawn this way, he's going to defend it with his pawn. Okay, so he defends the pawn with a pawn, and I continue. I play d3. I just don't want him to push. I want to be able to take. Now he plays f4. Now here we're getting into something a little different because now I got to be afraid of it. Already pushes down the board. So what I played was I played G3, but I'm not. I don't think that was the best way to play. Technically, because I mean here, if he pushes, I mean, I could do this, and I mean he could take like he takes. I mean I'm still better, but I wondered if E3 may have been the better move in this situation. Because now, if he pushes, I can take. Um, he he takes back, and I'm just queen to h5, and I'm just much better. So when I looked at this game after the fact, I was like, well, e3 was probably a little bit stronger than g3. Technically, if I look at these, it's got g3 at 0.11. e3 is just slightly better. But E3 gives you more flexibility if he decides to push. All right, but I played G3, and he plays this knight out, and I played my bishop. I'm just continuing with the hippo, and I have seen times online where a person will forget about it, and they'll just play the bishop out, and you can take the pawn, but we don't expect a national master to play in that matter. I've had some 2000s play that move where I've maybe been on autopilot before, but they just missed the fact you could take. All right, he brings his bishop out, and now come out with e3, and I'm just continuing with my hippo setup. People know that a hippo will a3, h3, then the knight's coming towards d2 and e2, and that would be a full hippo. All right, so he castles, and now I played play my knight to e2 first, and normally I play my knight to d2, but in this situation I brought my knight to e2 first because I wanted to get castled as quickly as possible. All right, so and when he plays over this direction, I suppose he's going to get out of line of any potential checks. That would be my guess is why he played that move. And if I look at the engine here, the engine actually, that's not one of the top 4 moves. So I assumed he was just trying to move it off of his king off of the diagonal. All right, he dropped his king over, and now I play my h-pawn up because I'm wanting to meet. If he plays the g5, I want to be able to take. Now, the engine actually likes just castle. Just castle and be done with it. However, I wanted to be prepared to meet that. And he brings his queen over. I suppose now he's got this. He can slide in. Engine likes c4 for my aspect. But I brought my knight around. I'm just continuing with the hippo. And here black is just slightly better. But in the hippo, the other side is always better, it seems like. All right, now he plays his pawn up. And he's just kind of keeping the squares in the center under control. And I play my c-pawn up because I'm wanting to, basically if he pushes, I want to be able to take back. I want to be able to meet it if he pushes. And when I look at the engine, it's actually got a4 as the top move. And now this might change as I give him more time to think. Now c4 moves up the list. So actually c4, a4, though those are 2 decent moves. I play c4. He brings his bishop down. And now I play queen to c2. I want to be able to castle either direction. So I play queen to c2. He plays this knight to b, knight to b to d7. And here, I decide I'm going to castle long. I castle long, and he's got an advantage. The engine says minus 1.335. Probably shouldn't have castled long, because now he can push a5. He can just start pushing down the board. That may have been a huge mistake by castling long. But now he plays his pawn up, so I bring my knight around. I'm wanting to hit the e5 pawn, and I'm thinking, all right, if he pushes, we'll just trade out. So let's for instance, all right, he pushes. I mean, I could bring my knight at f into here. I could take d takes. Actually, knight at f to d4 is what the engine prefers. And now, well, knight at f to d4, not knight at f to e5, knight at f to d4, and I'm hitting this and hitting this. All right. So I played my knight out, and he pushed, and I went the other way. I went knight g, and I'm thinking, all right, now if he goes here, I can take. If he drops back, and then I don't know, it kind of gets a little dicey. I always can drop back into here if I have to. But at this point, I just have I would have a better position. All right, so I bring my knight up, and he drops back, and I take. He takes this direction. So here, I want to be able to come into this square. And that's my whole purpose. I want to come right into this square. So I play my pawn because I want to come into here. And here it does, the engine says, you know, white's better. All right, he takes. I'll just take back. I've got a slight advantage. And he brings his knight down. All right, so he's going to hit here. He's got to hit twice, so I got to defend. So I bring my knight up and I'm defending. And I'm still, it's defending, and it's also, once again, we're targeting the square here. Okay, he brings his knight down. All right, so now the engine actually likes King moving over. I went ahead and took the square because, you know, if he takes, I can take back. I mean, we end up just trading out pieces. But I would have the two bishops, and it's slightly better. All right, let's go back. All right, I play the knight in. He takes with the knight, and I take. And he brings his rook up. He doesn't want to trade the bishop for the knight. So here, this leads to a tactic because the c7 square is, and I caught this in a video, is you talk about loose pieces. Well, the square is loose. And what I mean by that is if I fix, all right, the square is attacked once, it is guarded once. But if I can remove the piece that's guarding it, I can now get in on the square and attack queen and rook. All right, so that's what I do. He takes back, and now I come in and I'm attacking both pieces. All right, he drops his queen over, I take, and he takes. And now my rook takes the pawn, and I am totally winning the game. At this point, I'm winning the game. Now, I want to tell you, this does not last long. I have a major blunder in just a second. All right, he brings his bishop down. All right, I can just take the bishop. Take the bishop, get it off the board. Actually, the engine preferred just bringing rook at h. And you know what? If he wants to take, then I can take. And I'm just better. Sometimes, instead of taking the piece, just develop your piece and let your opponent make that move. All right, but I took, because I'm thinking, I get the pieces off the board, I'm up the exchange, I want to win this game. He takes back, and now what I'm missing is the queen is lined up on this diagonal hitting the rook. The move here was, let's see, rook at h to d1. He takes, you take back, and you're basically up. You're up what? 4, 5, 6. You're up 2 pawns, and you're just winning. That's you just give the exchange back, and you're up 2 pawns. However, I moved my rook, and what I missed was he has b6, and he has just turned the game completely around. He turned it around. He's going to win one of these 2 rooks, and there's nothing I can do. All right, so I move rook to c8, and I'm just trying to pin. He takes. Got to move my king up, and now I went from a winning position to now I'm losing the game. The only key here is I have 6 pawns. I've got 2 pawns in exchange for the bishop that I just, or the rook that I just lost. All right, he comes back. Now he's gonna target here. I can push f4 according to the engine, but I push e4. I'm just trying to start using these pawns, pushing them up the board, and maybe try to get something going with my 5 pawns over here. That's the only compensation I got, is I've got these 5 pawns that I can move up the board. He gives me a check. I move my king to b1, and now he's hitting it again. All right, so I got to come back and defend, and I'm thinking, all right, if you want to do this, I will go back, I'll repeat moves, and I'll take a draw at this point. After blowing the game, I'm willing to take a draw, but you know he's winning. He's not going to take a draw. All right, so now he's gonna give us King a little space where he can actually move his King over if and avoiding back rank makes. So I push the pawn, and let's go back. So the pawn move was logical, but it was a mistake because it just gives me a tempo. But with that tempo, I mean I push, and now I'm wanting to push here. He takes, take, and see if I can get something going. All right, but he pushes the pawn, and at this point, he's back to I've got the advantage because I can play queen to c4, and now I get the queens off the board. I don't do that though. I play the pawn up, hitting here. I didn't even, when I was playing this game, I didn't even think about this. I mean, he does this, I do this, and I'm thinking, well, he's still up the, he's got a bishop on me. But in this situation, I'm just winning. Let's say he pushes, and I go e5, and now, I mean, he can move over. I go e6. Now his bishop's dead. His bishop's dead. He'll end up losing it if he ever tries to. Well, I mean, technically he could do this. But then I'm going to just push down the board here in queen. I mean, he does this. We can't do that because he's pinned. All right, but we go back. But I didn't play the queen move to get the queens off the board. All right, what I played was I pushed the pawn, just trying to hit it again, and here it's back to even. But he blunders. He just blunders. He's thinking, all right, I can hit this again, but I can just take. And now he doesn't have this because of the pin. If he plays this way, I can just take, and I'm back up the exchange. If he plays this way, I can take, he takes back, and then I'm taking, and he's got to take with this queen, and I take back, and now I'm up pawns. All right, so, and he takes, so I give him a check first. I give him a check. He comes down. All right, now I hit him with another check. And here, queen to c3 was the move. This move is, I don't even have to do this anymore, or take. Don't have to do any of that. I could just mate them in 4 if I find the moves, but I'm not going to find the moves. Queen to c7 here was the key move. I give him a rook check instead. I still make 5. All right, now I come up here and give him another check, and I don't have mate on the board anymore. Let's look at the mate. I mean, here, rook to c8. Let's say that let's say, well, which way to go? Yeah, let's say he just goes here. He goes here, queen comes in. He goes here. We got king c7, and it's mate. And if he goes here, I got queen to c7, and he's in a lot of trouble. But I check with the rook instead. and that kind of lets him off the hook. He brings his king down, and it's still mate and 5, but instead I get the queens off the board. He takes, and I had plenty of time. I had 5 minutes still on my clock. I'm just moving fast. Take back, and he resigns, because at this point, this pawn's going to fall. This pawn's going to fall. At some point, I can exchange the rook for the bishop. By that time, he's just in a lot of trouble. All right, but he resigned at that point, and I wanted to put this game on here to show you that the hippopotamus, it's, in my opinion, it's very underrated opening, and you can play this against really good players. But with that, I will probably see you tomorrow night. I have an over-the-board tournament tomorrow, and hopefully I'll put some of the games on here. Hopefully they'll be worth putting on here. I mean, if I lose in 10 moves and get trashed, it's probably probably wouldn't get much out of it. But anyway, I will see you on the next video.